Okay, so which version you're working with right now? The Angular.
Angular 12 we are using, 13 that is not in LTS, so our
Mhm.
application is a game like application, so we need to use the LTS version. So last two
Okay,
applications we built with Angular 12, then before that Angular 7 and Angular 9 we used it.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. So can we start with first JavaScript, then HTML, then CSS, then at last Angular?
yeah, sure.
So can you please tell me what are the different data types do we have in a JavaScript?
Actually, different data types is string, boolean, undefined, and null, and character-wise, those are different characters you can use.
Okay. What is prototype in JavaScript?
And prototype, it's a, if you have the existing,
No
give me a
problem.
minute,
You can.
sorry for the interruption.
No problem, Malik.
Thanks for understanding. Prototype, if you have the existing thing for a, you have an object prototype, you have the one structure of object. If you want to use the same structure you want in the newly building object, that prototype you can directly copy and paste in new object. So this is a prototype.
So you meant to say I can create an object from the base object.
Yes, existing object.
So that will be the shallow copy, na then.
No, yeah, using the that is a shallow copy. If you want to, you can get a deep copy. You can make an object dot create. You can use that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know anything related to inheritance or prototype? Something prototypal inheritance.
Prototype, if you have the one kind of prototype in inheritance, you're telling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prototype in inheritance. Inheritance, you can get a parent characteristics to the child characteristics. That is inheritance. Prototype is you can access the inheritance. That is, you're accessing the parent to child their characteristics, right? So that way, but that's a difficult question for a particular question for me.
No problem. So actually, you can bind your custom function to the something to the related function or something like that. So you can override the whatever existing functionality of the window object, which is how you can do the prototypal inheritance. Suppose you have one function, so function prototype do we have? If you want to bind with it some your function, custom function, my function, so you can bind with the function as well. So this is how it works. So you
Okay,
can access anywhere that bind function, then whatever you create.
okay. If you're telling if a parent class having some functions, I can able to use that classes in the child also, right?
No, in the not the way only for class. It is not restricted to class. So in the JavaScript, everything is object only. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
with whatever you create, so ultimately it parse as an object only. So what happen if you have functions and if you want to inherit that function with your functionality? So at that time you can bind your custom function to that function. So it can be accessible function dot every time. So you can directly bind your function to window object. That I mean to say.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So what is difference between null and undefined?
Undefined is a initial when you're creating the variable without initialization automatically it will come as undefined. It is a character, it is a type of variable actually. Null is a
Hmm.
value. It is coming to sit. You are making as a, there is a no value. It is not a zero. It is not one set null. It's a value kind of a JavaScript. So that is a two
Okay.
different.
So
Undefined.
any.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay, no, no, bro.
undefined.
Go ahead.
Undefined you can make as a initial variable. You don't if you're doing the hosting and all the using the var variable, it's automatically making all the variables with the undefined only, but it never making a null. Null is the kind of a characteristic. So you can store if that is a value in null, you can check it out. You can doing the manipulation during the checking and everything. You can make. But undefined, it's the default characteristics.
Okay. So I have pasted small code in a chat window. Can you see it?
Okay,
So tell me what will be the value of x then here?
undefined it will come.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I change var to let then.
If you're changing var to let, right, it will throw the error.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what error will be?
Reference error, null reference error.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know immediately invoked functions?
Hmm. Um,
Any use case, do you know? Have you used it before sometimes
yeah,
or
this is immediate
means
invocation that I sent
okay.
in chat.
Yeah, correct. So
Yeah.
have you used it by practically in your project sometimes?
No, we didn't use the immediate invocation.
Okay.
Instead
So
of
what
if
kind of
anything we want to priority wise in RxJS, we are using the fork join and merge map, which these are all
Mhm.
using to achieve this one. And
Yes.
this also you can use the promises also. From what you need to, you have the APIs, you have the APIs, you want all the APIs data you are merging immediately one, you can use promises also there. So there's a similar character part, but fork join you can perfectly use as much as you open here. So, but this is the immediate invocation, we never use it in a production level.
Okay. Have you heard about callback health?
Callbacks.
Yeah, callback health.
Yeah, yeah, callback it is in a, if we having the one, if you have the one performance of inside the function method, after that immediately to load, you can use the callback permission. That is
No, I mean to
uh,
say callback health. Callback health. Have you heard about it?
callback hell.
Yes. Means you have one callback inside another callback, then means a hierarchy of
Nested.
callbacks. Nested
Yes.
callbacks. You meant yeah.
No, we
Okay,
didn't use
no
it there.
problem. Yeah. So to avoid it, what can we do that apart from this? Do you know?
Switch you can use.
I mean, I'm
No,
using
no,
only
no, no,
for
no.
right now JavaScript.
No, actually, you want to run one by one, one after another, right?
Yes.
Okay. You can use switch map. You can use that because if you're using switch map, one will running, then automatically it will switch to
Hmm.
the switch. It will unsubscribe with the first one and subscribe the second one. That is one
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
merge you can use that. One by one it will work. You
Yeah.
can create
Yeah.
a const variable inside that you can pass in the where merge one you can use that.
Anything related to JavaScript I can use. That is
Mm,
RxJS operator, no?
yeah, that is our
Which
experience.
that's why I don't ask you about it.
Okay, if you're asking that one, if you're we are using dot, then for if you having the APIs, if there is a
When we
defaultly,
use dot then,
if we if the second service depends upon the first service value, then you can use dot. Then you want
but
to you want to
with
perform some.
yeah yeah you are correct. But my
Mm.
question is, when we use dot then,
So that's when you whenever subscribing method or if the something it is done, I want to perform using this manipulation of this data, this service. I want to manipulate this to somewhere, and that is accordingly to continuity. I want use to dot then.
okay, that is
Yes.
correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Have you heard about promise?
Yeah. Promises.
So with
Yeah.
the
You have
promise we use dot then. So that I was asking you.
promise versus dot then. Dot then it will run one another, but if
Yes,
you are using the promises, either you will
you will
get
get yeah.
you will
One
get
type
any
of
status
yeah yeah
fulfilled or cancelled and rejected. You can get any kind of status, but then only it will perform it.
correct. Okay. Have you heard about event delegation?
Event,
Delegation.
no. Event delegation, no.
Event bubbling, event capturing.
Okay, yeah. Event bubbling, I know. Event capturing, it is an if you're having the event bubbling, it is depends
Hmm.
upon the if you have the down with the if you have the hold on. If it is a bubbling, it is event depends upon the another. After running the one event, automatically it will trigger the another event. Even that and that also will trigger the another event. This is the event bubbling. Event delegation depends upon even parent to child down. It is calling one by one, right? Then it returning the same. It is in a reverse flow. Same thing. That is
That is capturing.
yes, capturing. But
Okay.
uh, event bubbling. Okay, because telling me I don't know.
Okay.
Can you repeat event?
Event delegation.
Okay, actually I'm not.
Instead of putting that your function on each child, we put the your custom function to parent only. So you will get with a target. Suppose you have four li, so parent will be ul. Okay, so you will put your click only on ul. So whatever your target will be their child, it will get to that function. So instead of putting every time in a for loop, we'll do only for single time.
Okay, great, awesome. Event delegation.
Okay, I have pasted small code in a chat. Can you tell me the output of it?
For second one, for loop, it will come up to 0, 1, 2 console.
Hmm.
Okay. Then set timeout, which is a function. Mm, okay. Actually, it will giving the answer for timeout, right? Okay. To come as a 1, 0, 1. Yeah, it will come like this.
Okay. And why 10 at last?
If you are giving set timeout, it will take a minimum second. It will consider the minimum second 1 or 2 seconds. In the fraction of millisecond, the for loop will run. To 0, 1, 2, 10 it will come.
Okay. So if I put less than 1 lakh,
Less than
1 lakh, then
1 lakh.
so for loop will execute first or set timeout then?
No, for loop will execute first.
But why?
That's what we are giving a set time. It will the
But
JavaScript has been stack.
okay, yeah, it is
Yeah,
stack
in
only.
stack, it's a stack for loop immediately we invoke, but you are giving set timeout, right? It will consider second only.
Where it will go then? It will not go to the stack then. Where it will go?
Mm, where it will go? Uh, because it is in a first it will come as in a, you are not setting time. It's in a loop. Immediately it will call, but set time it will have the second one. I can't explain, but I have in mind. So
Actually, we have not added any zero, means 0 millisecond is over there already. Okay.
okay,
So we have not added any fractions of seconds as well.
yes, yes.
So that's for the question. If I have less than 1 lakh, then set timeout run first or for loop will run first, because it to print less than 1 lakh, it will take too much time.
Yes,
At least 1 2 seconds it will take. So meanwhile that the 0 1 will run or not, set timeout.
but that's what that is in a single thread, right?
Hmm.
For loop will run first, then second this answer will come. But in between, if you have the if you're running the two for loop at a time, one is updating your numbers, one is changing the background. You can't it never parallelly run. First for loop will run, second for loop secondly run. So set
Yes,
timer
but
will
set timeout, what does set timeout? When the automatic your delay point will trigger, it will get execute.
yeah it will pass.
If I give 5 millisecond, then it will wait for 5 millisecond.
Yes,
It
but
will not.
meanwhile it is working, right? The for loop is 1 lakh. It will wait for the complete that for loop, then only it will print.
Okay, answer is correct, but I
Okay.
want explanation. That's why.
That's what that is in a single stack. It will run the first for loop only. Just like
Yeah.
the single thread JavaScript will be
So
running. So
yeah,
second only set time out. It will start time end time. It will consider. So already
correct.
it is running. Then automatically the second value will patch out.
Do you know event loop in JavaScript?
Event hook.
Yeah.
No.
Loop, event loop.
Yeah, in JavaScript event loop. The
Yeah.
one another by another.
What?
Event loop, when one is running at a parallelly, it never run, which means that's what I'm doing. It's a single thread JavaScript. It never you allowed to allow parallel functionation. If you want to use the parallel script, you can use in a
Okay.
web
So
worker. You can achieve.
yeah, yeah. So what happen when you use set timeout, promise, async await? That all
Yeah.
goes to the your promise APIs, browser APIs.
Yes.
That will be the
Yes.
queue for all. So after
Yes.
you are running the whole code in the from the call stack, then
Uh,
only this promise callback queue get called. So that's why it will get at the end only.
okay. But I have in
Okay.
mind like I can't explain this.
That's why I have given hint to.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. So what are the types of scope we have in JavaScript?
Local scope, global scope, function scope.
Okay. Any other?
Class.
Which one?
Class.
Class scope.
No, 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 not available. Only three: global and function and block.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. What is difference between for each and map?
For each in map. For each it will take what is the for each map it will create a new array. Either map you can filter it, you can return the, you can modify it. But for each, what is the performance you do? It will consider to take. It never create a new array. But map it will
Hmm.
create a new array. It will give you the your condition wise. It will give you the solution with the array form. But for which only the performing that only you can perform each and element by to the your existing array.
Okay. Okay. What is reduce?
If you have the one array that you want to manipulate as a single digit, you can use reduce.
Hmm. Can you elaborate?
For example, if you have the array kind of 1, 5, 6, 8, you want to add all the array of elements you
Hmm.
want in a single digit, you can use reduce, you can achieve that. It will give a single
Okay.
value.
So what are the parameter it required?
Only the element
Are you
either
sure?
your yeah element and if you are doing
Yeah.
the
Array dot reduce. Okay.
yes, yes,
So your will be one will be element.
yes.
Then where you will store that?
No, I didn't get
Suppose
it
I
out.
have 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay.
I want to
Mm,
so make the sum of the array. 1, 2, 3 means
mm,
2, 6. Okay.
mm.
So first element will come 1.
Yes.
So I am asking
The
where
previous
you
and
will
the
store.
previous and the old you can automatically reduce will store.
So
No,
but it will make somewhere else now.
yes,
How
yes.
come that the next element will know so this to be added or something? There will be a no total plus element plus total something. Is there something or
Um, If you're using a reduce, if you're, it will, yeah, it will taking as a previous element and current element. It will
Mhm.
use in previous element you can add and you can return that. That way you can achieve.
Can we pass a default parameter as well?
In reduce,
Yeah. Means first value will be 5, then
okay.
your array will add it to it.
Yeah, you
In
can
that way, you
pass.
will get 11.
You can because initially reduce having the value with undefined. You can pass that.
Okay. What is restructuring?
Sorry.
Destructuring.
This actually simply you have the object instead of object if you having the three parameter values name age value that is you are directly assigning to the variable that's called a destructure.
Okay. Okay. I will give you a simple example. Do you know function curry?
Yeah, if you have the multiple parameter as a one function, if you are divided into a single function with a single parameter and all the things in the copy of nested functions. If you
Mhm.
are, that is a query. You will change your structure of the function, but the performance is same. But you are passing the instead of passing the all the parameter in a single function, you will pass one by one. Which
Okay.
means one function considering only the one parameter. That is a query. You can pass one another one.
Okay. So what is difference between normal function and arrow function?
Normal function wherever you can call, but arrow you only the you can mention you can perform the as a function. You can't able to call this dot the function name. So it
Mhm.
will immediately call work, but function it is a normal wherever you can call it.
Any other difference?
Any other difference? Different, but arrow function you can syntax wise you can make. Syntax
Yeah.
wise it will function you need to mention all bracket everything, but function you need to return. But arrow function always return equal value. What is the your operating? It will having the default return.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see that code?
Yes.
So I'm printing this over there. So what will be the value of this? Error, null, undefined, or something else?
This is you are calling a callback function that this.
No, 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 not a callback function. This is arrow function.
This is error will come.
So it will not print. It will not going to print this.
Give me a minute. On my own. No, error will come.
Are you sure?
Sure. Can I cancel this?
You can try. What you get?
Give me a minute. What I will take to end. Error. Oh no,
How come?
no,
How
no.
come?
Give me. I just copy it correctly. Some dots there.
What
Some
window?
yes. Some many
Okay.
functions here.
No.
Value complete that element under what is the parent, what is the result, everything is written.
What object you are getting?
It is actually I'm running in JS today.
You can try any browser console directly.
Yeah, was written. And if no, it's a window object scheme. Yes,
Why window object came? Do you know?
actually it's taking complete tree of the current document.
No.
Yes, it is showing everything, whatever, including the
Yes, yes. If it is printing window, then everything will be come there now
yes, it's
because that
completely
is
the
the
current.
whole object.
Yes, complete
So
all lines.
we don't have this in arrow. Okay. So
Okay.
if we are using any context, then only it will refer to that context. If it is not there, then it will go to window object directly.
Yes.
No problem. Okay, we'll move to now HTML.
Okay.
Okay. So what is session storage and local storage?
Session. Session. It never. Whenever you are closing the tab, session will go end. While the storing, all will go empty. But
Okay.
local, it will available. When you're closing a tab, also it will available.
Okay.
Local, you can usually use to store and get local storage. It is similar to
Okay.
Catchy also, but Catchy we can give the certain expiry time. Catchy you can get the data to the you can easily call your APIs. You can your APIs also can able to access your Catchy. So this is the three thing.
Okay. If I open two tabs,
Hmm.
localhost 4200 and again localhost 4200.
Okay.
Okay. And if I save something in tab 1 in local storage and session storage.
Okay.
So I have not closed any tab. Okay.
Hmm.
And if
Hmm.
I refresh in tab 2, so which value I'm able to get?
No, can you come again?
Okay. I have two tabs. Okay.
Okay.
So if I save something in session storage and local storage of tab 1.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm asking now, so which value I am able to access in tab 2?
Session you can't get it. Session it is separate with individual tab. Local you
Okay.
can get it. What you are storing in local, there you can get it. If you want to share the data to tab, post message you can use. If you want to store the much data, you can use index.db.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move to CSS. What
Okay.
is specificity in CSS?
What is?
Specificity.
Can you come again?
Specificity.
No.
No idea.
Specificity. No. Can you type in chat?
I'm giving you example directly. So what will be the color of text?
That is blue will come.
Blue.
Yep.
Are you sure?
Sure. Why?
Why?
Because
Why blue? Why blue?
your second time you're updating your DOM using ID you're calling as a color, right? But second time you're calling with a which is class you're calling, right? So automatically it's
But
only that reference.
but
It's
tell
only the
me.
element.
Yeah. But tell me if you are
Mm,
using class and ID as well. Okay.
mm,
On the
mm,
same element.
mm.
So what will be the specific to element? Class or ID? Which one has a more priority?
Class.
No.
No, because if you're using as a class, no, only the specific ID you're asking.
ID is specific to each element, na? It is not
Yes,
going to
yes,
be at the multiple places. Yeah.
yes. I thought it is in a multiple play actually. Specific means you can use ID. If you want to use in a multiple law, you can use a class.
But now tell me
Mm.
what will be the color then? Blue.
Yes, because you are overwriting the color, right? There is a no other elements.
You can try later on. It will be red only. It will take ID first, then class. Okay. So this is the specificity. As
Oh,
you parse in your mind, what will be the color to it? So browser this way, browser parse to it.
okay.
So this is the specific. Any preprocessors do you know of CSS?
Pre-processor active before and pseudo processor you're asking after
Mm-hmm. Preprocessors. Which Angular version you are working? 13, 12.
12 we are okay.
So when you create a component, what type of file it creates?
It will create a three, four files. So one test.cs file and HTML file and a normal TS and CSS.
So file is CSS or SCSS?
CSS.
So have you not heard about SCSS, SAS, LESS?
I heard about, but we are not using. While creating the building and creating application system, it will ask which
Acha,
category.
you have said already stored as a CSS only while creating application. That's why.
Yes,
No
yes.
problem. No problem. So these are the preprocessors for CSS. Do
Okay.
you know any features of it?
Um, CSS features.
No. SCSS. Preprocessors.
Yeah, you can create a variable. You can easily call there, and inside nested CSS you can write, and only the particular area you can call, particular element with nested CSS you can write. So this is the advanced in SCSS.
Okay.
But we didn't use it, but some small knowledge in that. What is that? Some curiosity we have, right?
Okay. Okay. We'll move to Angular.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me,
Sorry.
I will give you one simple scenario. So tell me
Okay.
how to complete this scenario, what kind of things do you have to create in Angular application so it can be. Suppose I have one backend API that giving me a 10 users data, first name, last name, and contact number.
Okay.
Okay. So that data I want to show in the HTML with Angular. So how can I do that?
That is API call, right?
Yeah, some
Okay.
API is there that
Okay.
giving us record of 10 users that I want to show
Okay.
in the browser of in Angular. How can I do
Okay.
that?
So first you need to create the endpoint in the environment. Then you need to call a service file because there is a service file. It is a individual service file you need to create. Inside service file you can create a method. That method will call a environment end URL. Right? Environment you need to call that. Then the service file will call your the endpoint there. Then in one of the method you need to write your component page. You need to import that service file into your component. Then you need to invoke that method in the component ts method. Then that will call a value. Either it is in a get, you can directly subscribe. If it is in a post method, you need to send any variable. Then I need to store in a one variable in the ts file. Then that ts file I need to update that data to the ts file variable. Then what that variable I need to use a two-way data binding or a two-way text interpolation. I need to use ng for in the HTML template page. In the HTML template page, ng for it will loop all the data as per the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to create some variable in component. So
Yes.
whatever subscription data will come, we will store into that variable.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if I don't want to create that variable, okay,
Okay. Okay.
still I want to show that data to HTML. How can I do that?
You don't want to create a variable,
Yeah.
but you want to show the data in using ID. You can update your data to the your directory. You can create all the elements in TS itself. You can directly using the
No,
you
no,
can
no.
directly. Okay.
That will be the means performance issue will become.
Yes. You want,
There
is
is
there
one
any
pipe.
other way? Okay, asynchronous pipe you can use.
Yes.
Yes.
What is drawback of a sync pipe?
That is a kind of impure pipe. If any data miscalculations happen, automatically it will update, it will go to the dead end zone. So that is the one issue. That is asynchronous pipe only depends upon any stream of data if you're using observables, any stream of data it is coming. It only the manipulate, it never considering the value, it never consider the error or whatever is there any collaborations error happen automatically it will come. So it's a kind of impure pipe. But all default pipe is in a pure pipe. What is default value set? It will automatically transform and it automatically will deliver. But asynchronous, it is depends upon your API. So it will happen error. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Now, what are the advantage of a sync pipe? A sync pipe.
Advantage, you don't need to, what is the latest value you will get in asynchronous. If you're using observable, for right now we are using, we have the some value here, somewhat
Mhm.
dividend entry that we are using the observables that immediately using the server side event we are getting the data. Immediately we
Mhm.
are updating our observable. Immediately it will come. There is no extra third party action you need to give. Automatically the value will come to there. Whatever API will get a data trigger automatically it will come to here. So that is an advantage here.
Any other advantage?
Any other advantage? No, I don't have idea about that.
Okay. Related to subscription.
Yeah, there also we can use subscription using a event any
Do we need to unsubscribe async values?
because it will create a memory leak. If you're not unsubscribe, it will keep on
Basically, it will automatically unsubscribe. So we don't need to write anything for it.
okay.
That I was expecting.
Sorry,
No
I
problem.
forgot that. I forgot. I
No,
know that,
not an
but
issue. Yeah. So what is view encapsulation in practical way, not the theoretical way?
event
View encapsulation.
view encapsulation. You have three category. One is event encapsulation none and emulated and
Shadow.
shadow. Shadow it will create a new one and none it will whatever styles you are writing it all go to the top of the file and it will show the all over. Then shadow it will create a shadow top on the particular component and it never allow to the accessing it never allow to the affect your current component DOM and whatever writing you are that is only particular component. So this is the category difference.
So if I use none, okay.
Okay.
If
Okay.
I create a one class in style.scss,
Okay.
so and if I use that class in that component,
Yes. Yes, you can use
so
anywhere.
no, listen. So
Okay.
that color will apply to that element in that component or not.
Can you come again?
I have one class, okay, like that,
Okay.
like the same way, dot blue color,
Um,
okay.
okay.
If I
Okay.
have that p tag in my child component, suppose, and there is a
Okay.
view encapsulation none.
Okay.
So, and if I use a class in that component as well as a red,
Okay.
so what will color be there?
Actually,
Which
you
one
are
it will
giving
be?
the actually encapsulation none. You are giving right.
Yeah,
You are giving encapsulation none. Then, if you are writing that same as per the ID, it will
yeah.
come color red.
No ID, only class. Both the places same class, only
Okay.
color is difference.
Okay. What is global you are giving that will come.
Global one or means it respective CSS file.
Yes.
So it will take from your component CSS or it from style.scss or CSS. That I'm asking.
No, that is global. It will take style.css.
Okay. Okay. And how browser know this CSS is related to this component only in the browser, in the code.
Using you're using art component, right? They are using the selector and template URL,
But
and
yeah,
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 that is
that is
using the
correct. That is for us.
okay.
Okay. When you build your application,
Okay.
after that minified file will create. Have you
Yes.
seen any path over there in minified files,
No.
references and all?
All build
So
files.
yeah. So how browser know this element CSS is only this one?
Um.
It is happen with emulated. It is happen only
Okay.
with yeah.
Okay. I
So
don't have an answer for this.
no
This is
problem.
new to me. Actually.
Okay. So when you create an element in a component, okay.
Okay. Okay.
So when you run your application, it will bind some random attribute with it. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Ng underscore something.
yes. And the
Yes.
same attribute bind to class as well.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
this
that
is
will.
how browser know this CSS is related to this attribute. So this is
Okay. Okay.
emulated.
Thank you.
Okay. What is view children and view child?
View children and view children. View children you can easily what and all the variable you're using the some other component you want to get the data using you can use in a view children view child you can use view children is querying the DOM. If you have the some other component DOM you want to query you can using the view children you can querying the DOM completely.
Yeah, both are used to get some data from another component or make a reference or make a
Yes.
attribute selection. But
Yes.
there is one difference between both.
Um, view
If
child.
you use, if you create view child variable
Okay.
reference, okay,
Yeah.
reference is Manikanand reference one, okay, and
Okay.
you use that reference in multiple places in template.
Yes.
So where it will apply? So means
Uh,
it will apply to first one, or if I use 10 times, so it will apply to 10 times.
it will apply 10 times.
So it will go only for first match. So
Using
for
the
that we
view,
have view children. So it will
you are
give you
asking view child, right?
yeah, view child and view children.
But this is only related to the view children, right?
View child. So only difference is that it will give you an array in view
Okay.
children. Whatever the references you have added, you will get 10. Means we can say the query list of over there 10. You can iterate it and you can do whatever your logic. Okay. What is content projection?
Content projection. If you have the data, if you have the data in the one couple that you are passing using the content projection, you can share the data there. If you want to do a multiple there, you can using selector. There you can pass in the using selector. You can order the your data to the above or below. So that is the
Have you
concept.
tried passing data
No,
in content projection?
we didn't use the
But
methodology. I know that.
okay. So actually we use input output for to send a data. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, input output you can send a parent to child, but content it is
If you want to pass HTML some CSS to child, then how can you pass it?
okay. If you want to pass this HTML CSS
Yeah.
to child, okay. Till now I didn't try it this way.
So this is the NG content projection. So we can pass HTML CSS content to the child.
Okay.
We don't have anything to with HTML CSS to pass to child.
Okay.
No problem. What is subject and behavioral subject?
Subject you don't need to. You can't able to set default value. Behavior subject you can set a default value.
Okay. And
And
what is
another
replace subject? Replace
that
subject is there.
that will get all the answer, all the what is your stream of data, right? That you replace it, you get all the data there. When you
Can
are
we limit to it?
no, there is no limit replace it. Asynchronous
Are you
subject it will
sure?
wait.
Replace subject.
Uh, yeah, it will return all the data. Whatever data you are that is a stream of data, right? All the data you will get in the replace subject.
What is preloading?
Preloading.
Yeah.
Whenever your app is running to before you load the some of the data to your app, you can use the preloading. Eager
Okay.
loading, it will load before itself. And lazy loading depends upon the router you are loading the modules with component.
What are the route guards?
Route cards, that's a private public cards. You can using the JWT, you can go down the cards and the route. There you can protect your cards with the key. It can able to access. Without key, it never. If you are directly typing your URL, also it never able to allow to that component. So it will protect your.
I'm asking about route guards, not about route only. Guards means
Yeah, it will create a security. It will create your component to the security. If you have the right permission to access the component, it
mhm.
will route. Guards will allow you to see the component.
That is auth guard. That is
Route.
auth guard. Yeah.
Okay.
That is part of route guards. Can active we use.
Yes, connective you can use.
Yeah. Have you heard about resolve?
Resolver.
Resolve.
Can you spell it?
Resolve. Resolve.
No, I didn't hear. It is in the
Okay.
JavaScript or Angular.
In Angular only.
Okay.
With
No.
route guards.
Okay.
Okay. So what happen when you are calling some API? Okay.
Okay.
And instead of loading your component first, you will get whatever data from resolver. then you will keep that data in one variable. That variable you will pass to the component, then only the component will load. So
This.
instead of writing the logic in ng on init, we write in resolver.
Okay.
Okay. So last question, how can I improve my Angular application performance?
Angular application performance. Uh,
Yeah.
if you want to use, if you have the much more component, you can use the lazy loading, preloading, and eager loading concept, and
Hmm.
you can use that. It will bootstrap your application, optimization what happen, and you can use in a web worker, service worker. If you want to run a parallel thing, you can use that. Then IndexedDB and the local storage session storage you can use to store. If you want to more data, you can store in IndexedDB. And for event and component management, you can use now ORX, ng-ORX for keeping the environment alive for the child and parent. Then RHAs you can achieve if for multiple requests, surge of requests you have to call, and the surge of requests you need to get data on the single array. You can use RHAs. This is the way you can optimize and improve your application. Then micro frontend you can achieve recently came. You can if you have
Hmm.
the multiple thing you can use a micro frontend. It will never load the complete application. It will never load the complete page. It will complete up DOM only. It will update. You can micro frontend you can update. And what
Okay.
else? What else? What else? That's it.
Have you heard about index in for loop?
Indexing.
Index only, index.
You are asking.
If you're using ng for,
Okay.
so do you know if we don't give ID over there or something
Yeah, we
as
can
a
create a let I equal to index. We can for star ng for they are looping, right? Let what is
hmm,
the loop we are doing inside. Then off what is the variable available in integers. Then colon we can give. After that, let I equal to index you can give. Automatically, what is the loop of the index you can get there.
okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Am I
So
anything
yeah,
missing?
no, 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 no. Actually, the question is something other, but you have given the correct answer for index, so it's not an issue.
Okay.
So that's it from my side. Do you have any question?